ABC Sportscast. PB, before we get into the NFC North, aka the Black and Blue division, as Chris, what's his name? Berman would say, right? Or
Yeah.
the Norris division. I got a little treat. We're usually beer guys, but this just got shipped to my house from my godfather from Italy. Bottle of wine from Taurasi. Actually, I think the wine is called Taurasi, a little red wine. I think it's the province of Avellino, if I remember correctly. By the way, everything is in Italian on the bottle. I can't even read it, so it doesn't make any sense. But this is actually pretty tasty. Wow. Okay. Nice. All right. So we shifted up a little. Shifted it up a little. We're going wine today. All right. Let's get to the black and blue division. This division could be one of the best in football. It depends on a couple of first round draft picks from last year's draft, right? You got Caleb Williams will stop the Chicago Bears. In Chicago, had an up and down year last year. I think he was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, if I remember correctly.
He was. Yeah.
And then you got
he was.
J.J. McCarthy from Minnesota playing his first year because he was out all year with an injury. So let's get right into it with the Bears, right? First of all, the Bears did okay, I think, in the draft. They got a kid named Colston Leonard, tight end. And then they got a guy I like a lot, Ozzie Trapillo, lineman from BC. Father played in the NFL as well. This defensive tackle, Shamir Turner, who I think is from Texas A&M, if I remember correctly. So they did okay in the draft compared to the rest of the teams in this division, anyways. Ben Johnson's the new head coach. Comes in to hopefully fix Caleb. He's got talent around him, right? He's got Andre Swift. He's got Rome Meduzzi, DJ Moore, Luther Burden, which I think you're kind of high on, the wide receiver. They brought over Joe Tooney in the offensive line. So the offense could be really good. I don't know about their defense. There's nobody, in my opinion, that is a named player on that defense that's going to be in the Pro Bowl or all Pro Bowl rosters. So what's your thoughts on this team?
Yeah. And you know that no matter how good your offense is, if you don't have a defense that right,
Yeah.
um, that could play into this whole thing. But I do agree with you that there's some pieces there that can help Caleb. They got to keep him upright. I mean, that's the bottom line. If he's the most sacked quarterback, or even if he's in the top, third of the league in sacks, they're not going to win games. Like, they got to keep him upright and at least give him a chance. So did we really see the true Caleb last year? We don't know because he didn't have time to throw the ball.
Yeah.
So Vegas is a little high on this team. They had the under over at 8.5, which means they're expecting this team to maybe actually finish over 500. Although the under bet, if I look here, the under bet is minus 140. So you got to lay 140 to make 100 to bet under that, which means Vegas really believes they're going to probably go under that 8.5. I think 8-9 is a good target for Chicago to get to this year, but I don't have them with that many wins. I only have them at 6 wins. I have them at 6-11 as they still struggle to come back. Plus that, like you said, the division's tough. They got to play Detroit twice, Green Bay twice, Minnesota twice. Maybe they win one of those games, maybe two if they're lucky, but that puts you in a bad spot already when you're dealing with a 1-5 record in your own division.
I totally agree. I mean, I got them. By the way, I'm with you. 6-11. 10 losses, definitely, without a doubt. I've got a pencil here right now. The 3 toss-up games for me are week 1, home game with Minnesota, JJ in his first game, possibly a winnable game. New Orleans in week 7, home game, and Pittsburgh in week 12. Those are my toss-up games. But other than that, definitely 10 losses. Oh, and I got one other one for you. Week 18. What if Detroit is not the number 1 seed? Do they rest everybody and treat that as a bye, and then Chicago wins that game, right? So that's the game that makes them 7-10, but I see them under with you. 6-11 is where I'm going.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, so speaking of Detroit, let's go to Detroit because they had a lot of losses. Speaking of losses, coordinators-wise, they lost both the OC and the DC, right? So this is a team that's a little bit challenged. I didn't see they did anything really in my mind in the draft. And so they've got to live with what they have on the team from last year, right? Which is a really good roster. You get the 2-headed monster in Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery in the backfield, right? Jared Goff is at the quarterback. Amon St. Brown, Jameson Williams. I like Tim Patrick, sneaky good wide receiver. Sam Laporta, one of my favorite tight ends in the NFL. So they get a really, really good offense. And offensive line solid. They got, the stud Penei Sewell, a tackle. That helps a lot. On the D, Aiden Hutchins is back, right? He's healthy. I like their linebackers, Alex Anzalone, Jack Carter. So they're pretty good. You know what? This team is still solid. But I'm concerned about having how they, get over those coordinator losses at this point in time. So what do you see them doing?
Yeah, and they're going for a third year in a row winning that division, by the way. They won 2 years ago with a 12-5 record. Last year they won with a 15-2 record. They were the number one seed going in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they were one and done when they met the Commanders in that second round of the playoffs in the divisional round. And I think that's leaving a very sour taste in their mouth because they probably thought they were almighty 15-2, number one seed, and we don't even win one playoff game.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that doesn't that's not sitting well with the organization. And I know Dan Campbell's going to fire up his troops and be like, this thing's not over till it's over. Can they repeat and have another 15-2 season? Probably not. Um, can they win this
What's the Vegas
division?
line?
Can they win this division? Probably, I think. Believe it or not, Vegas only has them at 10.5. And I think that's a lot in part with their strength of schedule. I think they can win over that, though. I think this team is still, to your point, back both sides of the roster, all phases of the game. This is a pretty solid team. And despite some challenging, road games that they have to play at Philly and at the Rams,
Hey, you just
those can be
mentioned
tough
that.
at
You highlighted
Baltimore.
that. They have to play all division winners on the road. Baltimore, KC, Philly, and the Rams.
Yep, but they should be able to win two of those four games, or maybe one of those four games, or two of those four games. If they're really lucky, they could win three of those four games. It just depends what we see, what this team really looks like. The rest of their schedule, though, outside of those four games that you talked about, maybe I mean they open up week one. It's not at Green Bay. It's in that's the game
Sure.
in Brazil, right?
Yeah,
On the Friday. Is that the Friday night game?
I believe
No,
so. Yes.
wait, no, the
No, the
Chiefs.
Friday night game is I think AFC teams.
Oh yeah, it's the Chiefs and the Chargers. No, I think this is actually the 4 o'clock game on Sunday, the
Sunday.
national
Okay.
game. Yeah,
Okay.
so it is physically at Green Bay. So there's another tough game to open up, right? So
By the way, they
I,
also play the team that beat them in the playoffs last year on the road at Washington.
at Washington, right? So you're right. I mean, this is a tough schedule. I still have them going 12-5. Maybe they slip down to 11-6, but I definitely see them getting over that 10-win mark.
I'm with you, 12-5. I get that. By the way, I do have them losing those four games I mentioned: Baltimore, KC, Philly, Rams, and splitting with Minnesota. And then 12-5 is they get to sweep Green Bay.
Okay. All right.
But and by the way, not only do they have Washington, that's a toss-up game for me. They also have Cincy on the road. That's a toss-up game for me. And as I mentioned when we talked about the Bears, if they're not the the number one seed, they play the Bears at the end of the year at Chicago. So
Yeah.
they could. I can see where the 10 comes from Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're talking at Cincy, at Kansas City, at Washington, at Philly, at the Rams, those 5 games right there, that's what's gonna if they drop 4 of those and go 1-4, then maybe they do only win 10 games. But if they can
Toughest
somehow
road
go
schedule.
two,
This could be the toughest road schedule of all teams.
it could be. If they can go 2-3 though, or 3-2 even in those games, then this team's gonna clearly win the division. It might be the number one seed again. But yeah, we'll
That's
see.
tough. All
But we
right.
both have them at 12. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's go to Green Bay. The biggest question is, can Jordan Love continue to improve? He had a good year, maybe even great year. Some people might say. I'll just say it was a good year. He got another toy. They drafted this kid, Matthew Golden, in the first round, who should start, right? So that's good for them. Go along with Romeo Dobbs. Josh Jacobs had a really good year coming over from Raiders last year. So what do you think about this team?
Yeah, this team could surprise some people this year. Vegas under over on them is only 9.5. It's kind of low, given what this team is capable of. Um, they also get Philly, but they do get them, and
Oh,
Washington, but they do get them at home
yeah.
versus Detroit, who's got to go play them on the road. So that's a little bit of a plus or a benefit for them. I mean, I agree with you with the offensive weapons. I think are there. I love the fact that they went after a receiver for the first time in I don't know how many years in the first
Yep.
round of the
Yep.
draft. Add another piece to that receiving core, which is pretty deep. Um, I'm going to put them just over that 9.5 though at 10-7. Just given some of their tough matchups.
You know what? I'm going right at 9-8. And I've got them losing that first game to Detroit. I mentioned that, when we talked about Detroit, they could sweep, but they go 12-5. So I got them losing to Detroit. Next week, tough game. They have to play Washington. Both those games are at home, by the way. They play Washington. I think they squeaked that one out. Then they get Dallas in week 4. I think it's at Dallas. That's a loss. I got them losing to Philly. I got them losing another game to Detroit. They got a tough game in week 15, Mile High at Denver. They play Baltimore, and then they finish the season at Minnesota. And also, they get Cincy in the middle of that as well. So I got them at 9-8. But yeah, could they be 10-7? Sure. They beat Cincy, they go 10-7.
Okay. All right. And they'll be like right on that wild card cusp, right? To get in
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
See. Yeah. All right.
All right. Here's another one. Minnesota. The whole thing about Minnesota is, can JJ McCarthy play as good as Sam Darnold? At least the first half of the year, Sam Darnold, not the end of the season, Sam Darnold,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And make that team run, because they've got weapons. They got Aaron Jones, they got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Harrison, TJ Hawkinson, another great tight end. This looks like the tight end division, maybe. Defense is solid, right? I like their front three with Allen, Phillips, and Hargrave. I've always loved Harrison Smith in the back end, so I like their team. I've got them though, PB. I'm not going to tell you what I got. I'll let you go first. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games that I'm a coin flip on. 9 games. I just don't know which way to go with this team because of JJ, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Right. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I mean, I think this whole season hinges on JJ. And by JJ we mean JJ McCarthy, not Justin Jefferson.
Right. Yeah.
And
but that other JJ could surely help him.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I like O'Connell and the way he works with quarterbacks, because look what he did with Darnold, and we know they got rid of Darnold because he knew in his head, I got the next best thing right here. This guy's way better than Darnold will ever be. I'm assuming that was his thought process with JJ McCarthy. So I do have high hopes for him. I just don't know if he's going to come out guns blazing and light up that division right now. And to your point, there's too many coin flip games. I think this team struggles to get to 500. And the over in Vegas, just like Green Bay, is also 9.5. I got Green Bay a tick over that at 10-7. I'm going to have Minnesota a tick under that at 9-8. So that's where I have them finishing.
Wow, we're exactly alike. All 4 teams. Yeah, I do as well. And the one that's going to kick them in the butt, they're going to lose that first game in Chicago, I think. I think JJ's not going to be ready for prime time. And Caleb comes out and shows that he is who we thought he was. So I got them going.
That's the Monday night game, right? Is that the Monday night game?
I believe so, yeah. And then losing to Chicago, the Chargers, losing at Detroit, losing to Baltimore, losing one game to Green Bay, the away game at Green Bay. So 9-8 for sure. And all those, the toss-ups, Washington, Cincy, at Arizona. We already know somebody that watches us thinks that we're fools about Arizona. At Pittsburgh, at Seattle, home against Washington, at Dallas, home against Detroit, and home against Green. Tough schedule. JJ has his hands full, right, with this team, right?
I agree with you 100%.
If he plays up to the game manager he was in at Michigan, they should go 9-8, maybe 10-7. But I'm with you, 9-8 for sure.
Yeah. So the only one we're technically different on is you had Green Bay at 9-8 also, and I had them at 10-7. So we're off by one game with Green Bay. The other 3 teams we have exactly the same.
Yep.
In terms of win total, which is kind of crazy that we're that spot on. So we'll see. I think this is a great division. I think they're going to beat each other up a little bit, and I'm looking forward to see what JJ can do, and I'm looking forward to see what Caleb can do. I like when the teams that finished lower in the standings in the previous, well, Minnesota didn't, but you know what I mean, and try to come in and make it more of a competitive division. So we'll see.
Wild card Chicago. If Chicago plays up to what Vegas thinks, right? Because you said they have them higher than we do, right?
8.5, yeah.
So if Chicago plays up to that, then this division is going to be completely haywire.
Yeah. It's a fun division.
Yep. Yeah. All right, man. All right, next we'll do the AFC North. That'll be interesting. Other than Cleveland, we got 3 tough teams there, so that'll be a good one. We do that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We're shooting for Sunday night for that one?
Yeah.
All right. Sounds
good.
Have
fun in Orlando.
All right. Thanks, my man. See you.